Have you ever watched a film so good that you just completely forgot that you were watching a film? And I mean, you just got so emotionally invested, and I'm talking real emotions, full on ugly crying, mascara running down your face, tissues beside you just crumpled up like last week's grocery list, breath coming in those big, messy gulps that are totally undignified and absolutely worth it. Give you an example. Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams in what was it called? The Notebook. Oh my God, they weren't just acting, were they? They were just bleeding emotion onto the screen. And you weren't just sitting there watching it, right? You know what I'm talking about? You were right in there with them. You were full on participation, right? And you got an award for that. Anyway, there's other there's other films, the ones where technically nothing's wrong. You know, the actors, they hit their marks, the dialogue is very correct, and the lighting, it's fine. And you feel absolutely nothing. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? It's a lukewarm, it's B or C grade, or perhaps even D grade kind of movie. Lukewarm, it's forgettable, and it's gone from your memory before the credits even finish rolling. And in some instances, it's like 2 or 3 hours of your life that you will never get back again. You know that feeling, don't you? Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I want to kind of explore with you today. The exact same thing happens in every single boardroom, in every single presentation, every single meeting, every job interview, every leadership conversation, and they're happening right now as we speak. Some people speak, others make you feel. And the ones that make you feel something like that first movie, they're the ones that get promoted. They're the ones that get remembered. They're the ones that get better income, influence, and the impact that equally brilliant people who are sitting beside them just don't. hmm So I want to tell you, I want to tell you a story about a client of mine. Her name's Claire. Because Claire's story ended up changing the way that I think about what it actually costs you to communicate in the way most professionals have been taught to communicate. And I'm talking about corporate communication kind of stuff. So Claire came to work with me a number of years ago. She is one of the most qualified women I know. I kid you not, she's got degrees coming out her wazoo. Senior healthcare professional, decades and decades of clinical, high quality experience. She's a lecturer at a leading Australian university, a woman who has literally given her entire professional life to excellence and saving lives. So she does that. She shows up. She does the work properly. Super respected, very credible. And she was, by every single measure, excellent at what she did and still does. And she genuinely believed, I mean, completely, utterly, genuinely believed that she communicated well. And she's been teaching, lecturing. I think it's close to 2 decades. Anyway, she's been communicating and teaching for a long time. And that belief that she was a good communicator cost her so much. Let me explain. So when she came to me, she was preparing to present at a big federal government inquiry. It was a huge government inquiry. Anyway, she came screaming around to my place, had a slide deck already on the computer, a laptop, flicked it open. She was confident. She just wanted me to have a look and how proud she was. She had done the work, right? She showed me what she'd prepared. And it was exactly what every other presenter was going to bring that day. Same, 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 same. It was fact laden, data heavy, professionally what you'd call safe. The kind of presentation that gets politely nodded at and completely forgotten by lunch or even by the next presenter. You know what I mean? So, what Claire hadn't shared in this presentation, and really what she was not even considering bringing to the table, was her truth. Now, in the years before this inquiry happened, She'd watched someone she loved navigate the very system she was being asked to speak about. So she hadn't just studied it clinically, she had lived it, she had felt it, she had carried it, and that was the real story. And I was sitting back at her home, untouched, not even looked at. So I turned around to her and I said, Claire, the most powerful and potent thing that you can do in this inquiry is to tell the truth, your truth. Not just the data, you can weave that in if you want, and not just the policy. I want you to share the human in all of it, because that's really what you're talking about. If I tell you she was uncomfortable, that would be that would be an understatement. Because sharing something that personal in front of this huge inquiry, well, it was big. And it was frightening. We had tears, and she even thought it might have been a bit unprofessional. But I asked her to trust me, so she did. And she walked into that huge inquiry and she told her real story. And yes, it was woven with clinical data, but she wove her experience with her professional authority and let the audience feel what she had felt. And I don't mean to understand it intellectually, to actually feel it, because everyone else was explaining it intellectually. The room, the whole place went quiet. And you know, that kind of quiet that only happens when something real is being spoken about, something true is being spoken about. Now, Claire had tears, and so did the audience. They were invested. And when she finished, she had delivered absolutely the most powerful presentation of the entire day. Now, that was a few years ago. People still come up to her now, today, and they quote that speech and they tell her how it made them felt. They remembered it. Years later, they remembered it, her speech. They remembered her. Now, here's the part that I really want you to sit with and to take on board. Because Claire didn't just have a good day that day and then, it passes away and things go back to normal. What she actually discovered that day is something that she now can't unknow. You see, before that presentation, Claire had been told explicitly by this university, and I think it's disgusting, she had been told explicitly that she would never be promoted from her lecturer role. And she'd been working in this job for decades. Anyway, she accepted it. She built her entire professional, I guess, identity around knowing that she had this ceiling. But, her passion is to teach people and to change lives, to save lives. So that was her passion. She was following it. But after that particular presentation, she started applying those same principles that I'd taught her to everything. This is her lectures, her interviews, her leadership conversations, the way she used her voice, the way she walked into a room and had presence, the way she made people feel in every single professional interaction, all of her communication, right? From being a lecturer, told that she would never be promoted. Guess what she is now? Yes, she's been promoted. She's deputy dean. And she has also been promoted again to associate professor. More than doubled her income, more than doubled her income in a really conservative environment. And for those job interviews, she was competing against very highly qualified candidates for every single one of those roles. And she won. And as I said, in academia, this is one of the hardest environments in the world to get those kind of advancements in. But her income more than doubled. So when Claire walks into a room now, walks into a meeting now, she no longer just presents information, facts, data, credentials. She now is unforgettable. And that's what you want, isn't it? You want to be unforgettable. So here's what I want you to understand about Claire's story and why I'm telling it to you today. She didn't know what she didn't know. She genuinely believed that she communicated well, and she was technically correct. She was professional, she was prepared, and she was operating really at a fraction of what her actual impact should have been, with absolutely no idea that another level existed. So that's not a reflection of her intelligence. Far from it. It's not a reflection of her experience or her capacity or her teaching or anything along those lines. It is a reflection of what she had been taught. Corporate bloody communication. Bland beige. She'd been taught how to present, how to be professional, how to deliver information correctly. No one had ever shown her how to be unforgettable, how to be memorable, how to be quotable, and how to scale up her communication so that literally she gets every single position she goes for. And that is so important. So I want to be really clear about what this actually costs you. And I mean a lack of communication skills that really embrace people, it does cost you this. Because when we think of communication as something that's nice, something that's soft and nice to have, the kind of thing that you work on after you've really worked out all of the real stuff, consider this. Researchers have identified that we have up to 24 distinct emotional nuances in our voice alone, not through just words, through the voice. And that's just not talking. That is emotional alchemy. Every tremor, every pause, every unexpected rise and fall in your tone, every moment you let the real thing land instead of, yes, here we are talking about this beige information. Using your voice for impact, using stories for impact, using your communication for impact, that is what makes people lean in and listen to you and take on board, and you are memorable. Because here's what I see every single day in my work as a communications coach. I see brilliant people, genuinely capable, experienced, deeply expert professionals being overlooked for that next promotion, like Claire was, being spoken over. They start to say something and someone cuts them off straight away. Watching those less capable colleagues, the ones that really don't know what you know, commanding more attention, getting the opportunities and getting the income. And that, ugh, it's annoying, isn't it? And it's not because of that they're better than you. It's because of how they communicate into every meeting, every room, every situation that they walk into. Their communication is just that little bit better than yours. And the promotion that you should have, the pitch that you should have won, the leadership role that went to someone who honestly, 1,000% doesn't have what you have. And you've been sitting there in quiet frustration and you're taking this home as well. And it's exhausting because in your mind, you know, you're good. And you're thinking, why am I still stuck? And you've been stuck for, I guess, a lot longer than you are willing to admit. So I want to say something directly to you. The problem was never you, never you. You have been taught to be safe, to be polished, to be technically correct and absolutely forgettable. And most people, well, they've been taught how to sound professional, not how to sound and present as unforgettable. They are not the same thing. And in a world where AI can now generate the professional version of anything, like the safe version, the polished version, the technically correct version, the human communication is not less important. It's actually becoming more and more important. It's the realness. It's becoming the only thing that AI cannot replicate ever. It can't replicate you. In her own words, Claire said this. She said, I didn't know, Sharon, I didn't know that I was hiding me. I thought I was just being professional. All the things that they taught me to do, I did, and I did it well. And she said, I had no idea that this whole other version of me just waiting to show up. And she said, when it did show up, wow, what a change. So if any part of Claire's story sounds familiar for you, like not the details, but that quiet knowledge that you're already good at what you do, but you're not being seen. Okay, this is exactly where we need to start because the cost of staying fine is not fine. And you know what fine means, don't you? Say to any woman, how are you feeling? Fine. Fine's not good. It's not a compliment. So if you're looking for a promotion, if you're looking for more income, if you're looking for more impact, you should be owning this 1,000%. If you want to keep exploring what's actually keeping you professionally invisible and then what's possible on the other side of that, let's have a conversation. Like, seriously, let's have a chat. Find me on my school platform, the link's in the information below, or find me on social media and DM the word unforgettable, and we'll set up a quick chat. No pitch. I just want to find out where you're at, where you want to go. And if you're watching this and you know someone who is brilliant, experienced, and they're stuck, please send them this video. They might need to hear it. And I'll see you on the next one. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.